I just got back from watching A Working Man featuring Jason Statham in the theater, and we have to ask ourselves, do we possibly have a contender for the best Jason Statham action movie of all time? Well, we're going to discuss that question and a lot more in my review of A Working Man. But before we get to that, make sure to subscribe to this channel, as we have a lot of movie and TV content that comes to you each and every single day. Some of it's long form, some of it's short form, but I know no matter what, you're going to love all of it. And let me know down in the comments what you thought of this movie or of any movie. I love talking movies and would love to have those conversations with you down in the comments. Now, let's get to my review. If you haven't seen the trailer or heard about this movie before, the premise is that Jason Statham's character, Levon Cade, is a former military man who's now working in construction. When the owner of his company's daughter goes missing, he sets out to find her and bring her home. Now, the first thing that stood out to me in this movie is the action. It's absolutely fantastic. Jason Statham knows how to deliver in an action movie, and he does it once again. The hand-to-hand combat is on point, and the weapons combat is just as good. Just from a purely action score, this movie would give about a 9 out of 10 from me. It's really that good of an action movie. That being said, it wasn't perfect in the action department. There was one scene in this movie where Jason Statham was on a motorcycle being chased that was really quite unbelievable, but those moments were minimal and few and far between at the most. The acting in this movie was really nothing to write home about outside of Jason Statham. He did a pretty good job. He knows how to portray these kinds of characters on screen, and he does what he knows best, and he does a good job at it. Michael Pena and David Harbour are both in this movie, but they both have fairly small parts, and their acting chops don't really get to shine through. It felt like they could have done a whole lot more with these characters, especially David Harbour's character, and they just didn't, and I don't know why, and I think the movie kind of suffered for it. None of the antagonists stand out and aren't really on screen long enough for anyone to really care about them or their acting. Their characters were fairly stereotypical for the types of characters that they're playing, and when you see the movie, you'll completely understand this. Even the daughter that gets kidnapped, played by Arianna Rivas, is really forgettable. They don't do anything to make you hope that she gets saved, and whether she lives or dies in this movie is really irrelevant, and most movie watchers, they won't really care, which leads me to the story. The story in this movie is a very simple one, and it reminds me a lot of the first Equalizer movie featuring Denzel Washington, except that they don't keep it simple. The plot was very convoluted, bloated, and had several unnecessary storylines. What I think they were trying to do was set this movie up for a series of movies in the future, and that's great, don't get me wrong, they just completely missed in doing that. They could have cut out a few different storylines and simplified this plot a lot, and it would have greatly benefited the movie. They still could have used some of those plot points that set things up for the future, but they could have done it a little bit more subtly, letting us know that those things are still there, but they're leaving some mystery to them and making you wonder what could come of that in the future if they decide to do another movie. If they would have done that, they could have cut out a lot of the bloat in this movie and done a lot more character development, and it would have made this story into a much more well-rounded story. Again, I think that would really have benefited this movie. A couple of quick hitters for some things that I didn't really care for in the movie. The soundtrack was hit or miss at best. Sometimes it was good, and other times it just seemed like it was way too overdramatic for what was happening on the screen. There were a few cringe moments, and one moment that rivaled the Darth Vader scene from Revenge of the Sith, and honestly, it was far worse and far more cringe than the one from Revenge of the Sith. It was absolutely awful. I don't know why they even put it in the movie. Now, is this movie going to win any awards? Absolutely not. Is it a contender for one of Jason Statham's best action movies? Not by a long shot. But that being said, if you're looking for an entertaining action movie that you can just put on and casually watch, then this movie hits that in spades. I think all action movies should be seen on the big screen, and if you can, you should go to the theater and watch this movie. But if you have to wait for it to come out on digital, then you're not really missing out. Because of Jason Statham and all the great action sequences in this movie, I'll give the movie a 6.5 out of 10. What? If it wasn't for that though, I definitely would have given it a much lower score. The only reason that it gets that high is because of the action sequences and because of Jason Statham. If you liked today's video, make sure to give it a like. And let me know down in the comments what you thought of this movie. Or if you got another movie topic that you would like to discuss, I'd love to have that conversation with you. And don't forget to check out our other movie and TV content in our long form and short form videos. And why don't you just start by checking out this video right here. I hope you all have a great day, and I look forward to seeing each and every one of you in the next video, moviegoers.